Yes. We are live at Xfinity Mobile Arena. This is the Press Row Show, the number one rated intermission postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, and according to my sources, also north of the equator. I'm doing in a tone that only dogs can hear, just so all of our canine viewers have something. So welcome in. We have a loaded panel here.
Yes.
Intern Andrew filling in for Russ Joy. He's still in the Empire State, I believe. He'll be back tomorrow for the radio show.
Yep.
To my left, Anthony SanFilippo, and a rare pregame appearance from Chris Bundy Therien, and making his long-awaited Press Row Show season debut, we finally have the man, the myth, the legend, Bill Meltzer. Bill, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
All right. So, what was the last game? Saturday? We had the Press Row Show here, and we mentioned that Ant said to Bundy, what do you think about Dvorak? And Bundy said, he hasn't done much. He immediately scores.
Like literally 30 seconds
Right.
the next shift. It was really the next shift.
Second intermission, I say to Ant, Trevor Zegras pretty impressive, 6 assists in 8 games, and Ant's like, well, I'd like to see him score more. Immediately scores 2 goals.
Yes.
So while we're on the theme of speaking things into existence, if you watched our post-game show that day, the last thing Ant and I talked about was, I don't know if it's the right thing for Jet Luchenko to be here. And then 48 hours later, Jet Luchenko not here. So obviously we've talked about Luchenko on this program ad nauseum. This will probably be the last time he comes up for a while, but we'll put a bow on him. Bill, we haven't gotten your thoughts yet on Luchenko, though. So do you think this is the right move?
I didn't think there was too much choice.
Right.
You want him to sit around and then have a conditioning sim with the Phantoms. Is he better off playing 8 minutes occasionally? I didn't like any of the options, but the rules are the rules, so they're stuck with it. It kind of stinks that he can't play in the American League until next year because that's really where he belongs right now. But yeah, I saw the benefit of giving him another look on the NHL team, even though he was injured this summer and he kind of got a late start and he didn't have a great camp, but ultimately though, big picture, a couple years down the line, speculating, but I think he'll ultimately be fine, right? I think he's going to be a good playmaking center. Obviously has the speed, he has the two-way awareness. Now, will he ever shoot the puck enough to score? I don't know. But, but I think he's going to ultimately be just fine as a middle six center, two-way ability. And, one thing I'll take issue with, something some people have said, he didn't dominate the OHL. That to me is the difference between looking at stats and watching games. Okay, if you actually watched him play last year, there are any number of times you'd watch him play where he would create 4 or 5 prime chances on an absolutely brutal Guelph team. And at the end of the night, for those 5 chances he created, he'd come away with 1 assist. A lot of times those games where you kind of pad your stats cover for those games where the checking is tight and nobody's creating very much of anything. Definitely want to see him go to Guelph and shoot the puck more and shoot to score more. That's to be one of the biggest things he has to work on. But for now, go down, right frame of mind. Focus on the World Juniors, play a lot of minutes, and see where he's at next year.
Bill, you know who didn't shoot the puck a lot as a 19-year-old? And people wondered the same thing about him. The current general manager.
For sure, yeah. Danny was certainly
He was a pass-first player. And the knock on him at the time was he doesn't shoot the puck enough. Doesn't shoot the puck enough. It's a mental block. He needs to shoot the puck more. How did his career turn out?
Just fine. And it's one thing to be pass first because there is absolutely nothing wrong with a pass first center, playmaking center. Adam Oates made a whole career out of it, right?
Yeah.
But you can't be pass only.
Right. Correct.
You do have to keep defenses honest a little bit, and I thought there were times where Luchenko was a little too anxious to get rid of the puck. So we'll see where he is in a few years. But no, players evolve over time, and totally a different kind of a player. right? But Braden Shen had a couple of cups of coffee in the NHL as a teenager because he was kind of too good for junior hockey at that point, not quite ready for the NHL, and could play in the AHL. And so, but he turned out fine too. And so, not playing in the NHL at 19, it's not a knock on the kid.
No, it's not. And Bundy, I want to ask you that as think back to when you were playing. Were you cognizant of those types of young players who were hesitant to shoot the puck and the way you played against them? Or in the moment, are you not thinking? The reason I'm asking this question, because if you're Jet Luchenko, should you be worried about the way teams are going to play against you when you have the puck versus just go out there and just shoot and don't think about it?
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't cognizant of a guy like it was hard. It's hard, believe me, it's hard to tell when you're on the ice and you're playing your game to see what someone else is doing.
Right.
It's really hard to notice that. It is, as Bill said, it is the one area that he can definitely be better at. There's chances that he had an opportunity to shoot the puck and he elected to pass or to try to do something with it that wasn't necessarily the right play. But you never can go wrong with making a good shot or taking a shot towards the net, following it up, and giving your line mates some traffic to work off of. So there's little things he can go, but I don't think it's the end of the world that he's a 19-year-old and he's not playing in the NHL. I think everybody takes a little longer than others at some point.
A couple other things to talk about here pregame today with you, Bill. First one is Sam Ersson getting another start tonight. Do you look at this as kind of like a reward for him having a pretty solid game in the last game versus it's just his turn to have two in a row?
Well, they're playing 4 games this week,
right?
So I think Talk is just alternating this week because Vladar is going to get Calgary,
right?
And which means Ersson gets Toronto the day before. So then, you kind of flip a coin between the Penguins and the Nashville game.
Yeah.
Now, were it my call, I probably would have gone Vladar, Ersson, Vladar.
I agree with you.
But, I don't know how much difference it's going to make tonight. Pittsburgh is off to a great start. So,
I read this is their best. This is the first time they've won 7 out of their first 10 games since they won the Stanley Cup in 2017.
Well, they're not winning the Cup this year, so.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You don't know that.
I know that.
So I think Tuesday we turned the clocks back an hour, I believe. I think Evgeny Malkin this season has turned the clocks back 8 years. He's been unbelievable this season so far, and I haven't even mentioned Crosby yet. I have a couple of stats about Crosby that I'll get to in the
1,700 points.
Well, that was one of them, but okay.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll pivot. Totally. No.
Sorry to blow up stat of the night.
It's totally fine. I had some add-ons to that. It's totally fine. Totally fine. Okay, so the other thing, we talked about it a little bit in postgame on Saturday, but let me find the here it is. John McClain saying 5-2 Flyers, Michkov shines. They haven't really had that Matvei Michkov game yet that he gave you so early into last season. And I think a huge part of his sensation last year and the phenom that he was and why everyone was so excited was because he was scoring all of these exciting overtime winning games.
Goals.
Well, that's right, yeah. The first 2 overtime games that the Flyers had this season didn't even see the ice. And then the third one on Saturday, he probably only saw the ice the one time because Konecny missed the shift because he turned the puck over.
Right.
And then, he missed the Michkov had the pretty bad change that almost led to another Islanders goal. So, at what point are we allowed to actually be concerned about him? Because it's not I was thinking about this. It's not because Tocchet doesn't trust him with the game on the line, because he does, because he let him go in the shootout. So, I think I would rather see Michkov be on the ice and kind of messing up, because at least that means that Tocchet wants him out there, rather than Tocchet saying, I don't even want the guy out on the ice. I think that's actually more concerning. Do you agree with that sentiment at least?
No.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Tocchet's a guy who wants his players to play through their mistakes. He believes in that, right? He believes in, and that doesn't necessarily mean in the moment there could be a time where you're not putting a guy out there because you're trying to win the game and you don't think that guy's helping you in that moment. But it's not like it's going to be, all right, this is going to be something that carries over game to game to game to game that you're going to be sitting. Right? Like Michkov didn't play well for several games, and then all of a sudden he had an 18-minute game. Again, what was that? That wasn't Saturday. It was the one before that, right? The road game.
The Senators game?
Yeah, in Ottawa, right?
Okay.
He played it was 18 minutes in that game, right? So I don't think that that's really what he's doing there. I really do believe it's about managing his conditioning at this point. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so. I think that has a lot to do with it. He certainly had a good game last game where, he's had to kind of get in shape in the season, which is a difficult thing to do, to get up to speed to the other guys because of that injury or him learning really about being a pro, being in the NHL for an extended period of time and how you have to take care of your body in the off season. But I do think he's improved the last couple of games for sure.
I think on the offensive side of the puck, there's been a little bit better than each of the last few games. So he's getting back offensively, slowly but surely, kind of getting back to a little bit higher level. In terms of his off puck game and puck support and whatever, that's going to be ongoing for a while. The truth of the matter, Andrew, is that in the games where he sat in overtime, he deserved to sit because he had pretty rough games.
He wasn't skating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that goes back to they're managing his conditioning because he wasn't skating because he wasn't in shape.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why. I mean, is he having it's cause and effect, right? So he's not in good enough shape. So he's not performing well. So they can't put him out on the ice because it both hurts him and it hurts the team. So we're going to make him sit. I don't think that it's one or the other. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a causation for it. So I think that's what it is. So as far as being concerned, I'm not overtly concerned. This is something that's going to be impacting him for his career or anything like that. I think it's, hey, guess what? You came in, you're behind the 8-ball, kid, and you got to work your way through it. It's going to be tough. You're going to have to practice on off days and things like that. Every opportunity to skate a little bit more than somebody else, you're going to have to be out there. I'll tell you, when I was over at practice yesterday, he was one of the last guys off the ice, one of the last couple guys off, just because they have to work him extra, right? He's got to put in a little bit extra than everybody else, and that's what it's going to have to be in order for him to get back to the level that he wants to be at. One other thing I wanted to bring up with Bill, Flyers recalled Emil Andre today. Yeah. Now, they had the roster spot open, obviously, when you send Luchenko back. You assumed it would maybe be another forward.
Yeah.
But no. And now there's 8 defensemen here. Can you give me a reason? And then I want to ask Bundy a question off of this as well. But, Bill, can you tell me what your thought is as to why you would want 8 defensemen here?
Other than in practice where you run 4 pairs, I don't personally see a great benefit to it. If he's up, I'd like to see Andre playing because I get all the size concerns, okay? But ultimately, the Flyers are in a situation where you have to go with your best players, your best hockey players. They're not in a situation where you're worried about playoff matchups or preparing for anything like that, right? I think Juleson has been better than he was in the preseason because there was kind of nowhere to go but up, truthfully. But is he an every game guy? I don't think he should be an every game guy.
No, he's a 7. There's no question he's a number 7.
He's a 7.
Yeah.
But he was the every game guy for Talk in Vancouver until he got injured last year. To me, he's the 7, right? Zamula, Yinning, right? Are those really guys that should be in your top 6? No. So maybe you want to look at some other combinations because the third pairing is still very unsettled. It can't be just a practice thing. So that being the case, I want to see him actually play, see him in some games.
He's not in tonight. So Charlie just tweeted the D pairings for tonight. York and Sanheim, Sealer, Drysdale, and then Zamula Jules is the third pairing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Bundy, the question for you, what was it like when you guys had 8D in the room? How hard was it for – I mean, obviously you were going to be in the lineup, right? So for you personally, it wasn't difficult. But, I mean, you were friends with these guys and you were teammates. And Like, what, is it difficult for them to kind of go through that?
It is, and I just read a comment that talked to me like it for practice. It's great for practice because you have 4 defensemen on each side.
Yeah.
When you break the lines up, so it's like having 4 lines, but it's the same as having 2 sets of defense pairs because it equals out to 4 sets. So I like it. I mean, when you have 6 defensemen, is obviously too light. I went one year where I only had 6 defensemen on the roster, and it really takes a lot out of you in practice. Yeah. I've been on teams where we've had 8 defensemen, and I find it a lot more efficient, especially having good hard practices early in the season. It's always good to have that extra defenseman back there to really help out with practice.
And the interesting thing is, the way the schedule has worked out for the Flyers, they're getting more practice now than they have in years.
Yeah.
Right? In the beginning of the season, because they're home. It's not like they're playing a lot of games. The schedule is a little bit condensed because of the Olympic break, but the way that the schedule fell, that all these games in October are at home in early November. And so because of that, you're getting in full practices at home as opposed to you're on the road and you got to go from one city to the next and you maybe get like a light skate in or whatever, a short practice, but not really like a full on thing that you're doing. I think that they put, like, for Tocchet, I think that this is a benefit for him, right?
Yeah, it's a luxury having that extra guy, and you can really be able to, and work in the extra defenseman. You have that 4th pair defense group. That's a good thing to have too, because you're also working those guys in NHL practices, and they're only getting better as well, especially your depth players.
This is crazy, guys, because they're playing so many games at home early. By November 12th. They'll have already played a quarter of their home schedule. It'll be by the way. So they have to make hay during this stretch at home during this night, and so far so good, right? But they have to keep winning at home. That's why these next 4 games are pretty important.
Yeah, they're really important games.
So I like this. This is an interesting question here. When Russo comes back, I assume Zamula stays and Jewell goes down. So when Ristolainen does eventually come back, where is he going to slide in, and then who's going to?
Well, okay, it's a good question, but the reality of it is we're about a month away from that. Anything can happen in a month, right? So somebody else could get hurt, and it changes the answer that I'm about to give you.
Okay.
But if everyone is healthy, if all these guys are healthy in a month, I would bet that Zamula goes on waivers, unless he's traded. Which I guess that there's always a possibility of that too. If he's playing better and another team sees the value there, you might be able to get a something for him, right? A draft, like a late round draft pick or something. I think that the rumor was out there that the Flyers are looking for a 3rd round pick for Zamula. I don't see how that ever happens.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot for him. I mean, maybe that's the ask because you just keep the price high, but there's no prayer you're ever getting a 3rd round pick. If you get a 5th round pick for Zamula, I think that's a success. Okay. So I think that ultimately that would probably be the direction that it goes.
I saved this comment because I think it's an interesting question as well. How many games do you give it before making a decision on goalie, making someone the clear number 1? I don't know that they ever will.
82.
Like that's what I mean. Until they're actually in the playoffs. Obviously, you don't want to be rotating goalies in the playoffs if you can avoid it. But I don't think either of these guys are playing more than 50 games this season. I don't know that they can handle that workload. So it may very well just be they switch on and off based on whoever's got the hot hand at that given moment.
And plus, particularly look at the schedule going forward. There's a lot of back-to-back and 3 and 4 situations.
Yeah, so, back-to-back this weekend.
Yeah, well, this weekend is the first one.
Yeah,
but there's so many of those. You're not. I mean, Calgary's gone back-to-back with Dustin Wolf a couple times this season. To not great effect, truthfully. But generally speaking, when you have a back-to-back, the way the league goes nowadays, you split those 2 anyway. So just because of the schedule, both guys are going to kind of split those.
Okay.
Yeah, and so look, you might have to answer that question sooner, right, Bundy? If one guy's not as good as the other guy, one guy might take a step forward, right? It may not be that you wait all 82 games, but you don't have to make the decision necessarily before the 82nd game, right?
I think if one guy is, really solidifies the position, nails it down in the next 15 or 20 games, I think that's where you make your determination who's number 1. I don't think a coaching staff is going to want to run 2 goalies as the spring approaches. I think you're going to want to have someone locked down by then, especially if you're in playoff contention.
Bill, another change in the lineup tonight is you got Nick Delorier checks in, Nikita Grabenkin goes out. What do you got on that?
I was a little surprised because usually if Delorier is going to go, you look at the other lineup and okay, that's why he's in the lineup today, right? Pittsburgh doesn't really have that guy who that's why D'Lo's in the lineup today. I mean, there's still some things they want to teach Grabenkin on. I don't know if tonight's the night to do it, but like kind of going in, and Jason Martinez and I were talking about it. I think Grabenkin will play 7 or 8 out of every 10 games, probably more like 8 out of every 10. He will sit occasionally. Now with the back-to-back this weekend, I thought maybe he might sit one of those again.
Well, he's going to play against Toronto.
He'll play against his former team, right?
Right.
Yeah. Former organization. But I thought maybe the Calgary game, because they have not necessarily fighters there, but they have some chirpy guys who get under your skin there. Maybe that's a game where you would address D'Lo, but I honestly, when coming out of the weekend, coming off a pretty good game, I honestly thought Grabenkin was going to be in the lineup today. So it did surprise me a little bit.
Yeah, here's what I'll say. And I know people get, because fans get fired up about stupid things like this. Nick Delorier is going to play 25 games this year. He's going to play 25. Does it matter which 25 that he's going to play? I don't know, especially early in the season. I don't think we need to overanalyze it, right, Bundy? I mean, you think about players like that, who have played over the years. There's going to be a fourth-line guy who plays a small number of games, and it's good. It's like, get that guy in, and you're teaching a young player a little bit of something by sitting them out.
Yeah, and I think there's probably some stuff Grabenkin can learn as he moves forward, things that they can teach him off the, watching games and then learning through video the games he's not playing. I'm with Bill on this one. I was looking at Pittsburgh's roster. I don't know if they have anybody that's able to combat Delorier. I don't think they do, Bill, do they?
No, there's no obvious guy.
Right, even the last game I can remember him playing was against Minnesota.
Yeah.
And they had Marcus Foligno.
Yeah.
And that was kind of like a reach for Foligno. He'll fight, but he usually doesn't fight other teams' heavyweights.
Honestly, I thought maybe against the Islanders might be a game,
right,
where you get him in. Like a Scott Mayfield type of guy who was in and out of the box all night long.
What was your line, Andrew, about Mayfield?
Well, I got the math wrong. I just realized, but I said that he had 19 minutes of ice time. The other 41 minutes he was in the penalty box.
Yeah.
He had, all kidding aside, he had 9 minutes of penalties in that game.
Yeah, he did.
Granted, Hathaway had 7, but speaking of Hathaway, I start this comment here. GJG asks, could Hathaway get a Paling-type return? Worst case scenario, the Flyers have to sell it all at the deadline.
You're not going to get Trevor Zegras for Garnet Hathaway.
Right. Well, there was more to it than just Ryan
there was,
Paling.
but it was they coveted Paling though. Clearly, Anaheim did wanted a guy with defensive prowess come back, and he played really well late in the year for the Flyers. But no, Garnet Hathaway's not going to get you that. You're not take more than that.
Yeah, not at all. There was one other thing. Sounds like, Bill, obviously with Luchenko going out, it looks like Abels is going to be locked into that number 4 center spot. And if there's an injury, you have other guys who are wingers who can play center.
You could do that.
You always slide Zegras back to a regular center position or whatever. So you don't have to worry about depth so much. But it sounds like that they're pretty set on keeping him here now for the season. I heard that they told him, his family's back home in Latvia, but told him, they can bring him over, look for a place to stay. He's not going to be up and down anymore. I think that's a feather in his cap, even though he's only going to play, 8 to 10 minutes a night.
No, real nice story, right? He certainly more than paid his dues to be up here. Now, there's still always competition. Like if you look at the Phantoms so far this year, Carson Dorward's off to a pretty good start. They have a guy like Peterson who has some NHL experience. And you do have the versatility of maybe moving a guy over. I mean, Abels can play wing as well as center too. So he's a versatile guy who can play around the line. But I think the bottom line is he's earned it, right? He had a good camp, and he's a smart hockey player. Actually, when he was mostly playing in the minor leagues in Europe. I used to use him as an example, saying like, look at this guy who plays on all the international teams, and Latvia is not the deepest international team, but Bundy's with them. He's the first power play guy for them, right?
Yeah.
When he's with the Phantoms, if you had to slide him up and play him 18 or even 20 minutes, sometimes he could do that. He's a really good hockey player. He's a little on the slow side, right? He's not a guy you're going to play in the upper half of the lineup too much in the NHL unless it's a given game with injuries or something. But he's versatile. He's a veteran, and he brings some different skills. So definitely a feather in his cap.
Yeah, that's great. That's good. Good for him. Good for him. He is a good story, and he's a good guy. I can tell you that too. Just had a really good conversation with him at practice yesterday, and just a really, really good dude.
Yeah, he was also part of that scrum with the Islanders the other day. He slammed McLean down to the slammed down McLean to the ice. That was good.
All right, Bill. Before we get you out of here, it's we're going into our picks time, and I want to kind of get your thoughts on the game for tonight. Is this matchup, the rivalry renewed? I guess.
Yeah, a little not a vintage game necessarily, but no. My prediction for tonight with Pittsburgh on a back-to-back, coming off a pretty big win against St. Louis. I have the Flyers winning it 4-3.
That seems to be the number of the night.
Wait, do you really?
Yeah.
So Bill, we have a group chat because we had to send it to Russ to tell him what our picks were for tonight, and my pick, Andrew's pick, Bundy's pick, were all 4-3 Flyers.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
Well, Russ will hear this, and then he'll try to be the black sheep and just go, 6-1 Penguins.
Yes, Russ is going completely different tonight. There's no question. That's assuming that he's even alert and aware of what's going on up in New York right now.
I'm sure he's watching, or he will watch at some point.
At some point he'll watch. But, he goes on these business trips. They usually have like a nice business dinner and business drinks, plural, and gets into a crazy night for Russell.
Yeah, but I could see him having like the one AirPod in the one ear, just listening.
He's done that before.
Yeah, just having a conversation while simultaneously listening to a podcast.
Yes.
He cares about the show. I'll give him that.
Yeah. So just so you know, we'll get that tweet out as soon as Russ answers us. We don't know when that'll be, but those are our picks. We don't know what Russ's pick is, but as soon as he answers us, that'll get out on X. But you can leave your picks here in the stream, in YouTube comments, or comment. You can comment on X as well if you're watching it on either my X account or Bundy's X account. You can always, or the Snow the Goalie X account. You can leave your comment there as well. And our wonderful Allison will be gathering all those picks. Bless you, Allison. After YouTube has changed the way that the names show up, they are now these @ signs, and they're not the people's names anymore, which stinks for her. She's got to try and figure out who's who. But yes, you leave your picks there for us. But Bill Meltzer, thank you as always.
Always a pleasure, guys.
For hopping on. You're the best. Hockey Hot Stove, man. How's that going?
It's going great. If people want to check out, we had a column from Bundy today on some of the best chirps he had on the ice. There's some great stuff from Craig Rubio.
Really?
Yeah, Hockey Hot Stove. I retweeted it.
Oh, well, now, so I got to read that, and we got to talk about it during intermission.
Yeah,
because that's some good stuff. I always love good chirp stories.
Yeah, they're good. Some good ones. Yeah,
that's good. Definitely check that out. Hockey Hot Stove. Bill Meltzer, you're the best, my friend. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. Yeah,
good stuff. Good stuff. All right, guys. Well, Andrew, you going to take us out here, or do you want me to do it?
I was going to adjust the camera.
Oh, okay. I'll take us out then. So you can adjust the camera.
We still have 6 minutes.
Are they about to do the anthem? Like, what? Everything went silent all of a sudden. Oh, okay. I guess they're doing the intro here. All right. Yeah. So we still have 5 more minutes to go. So Bundy, you didn't really get to say. I mean, I announced your score, but like, why do you think this is a 4-3 Flyers win? Like, what do you think?
The biggest reason for me was Pittsburgh had another really convincing win against a good playoff team in St. Louis from last year. Crosby's playing at his best, and they're scoring a lot of goals. So I think it's going to be harder for him here tonight against Philadelphia, who should be feeling good after their win. And I think the Flyers have the ability to score 4 goals on Pittsburgh tonight if they take advantage of this defense. You can really go after the Pittsburgh defense with Letang and Carlson and be really physical and authoritative with the puck in the corner. You can take pucks to the front of the net.
That's what's amazing to me as to how that team has gotten off to such a good start.
I know.
When you were relying on those guys,
yes,
to be your top D pair, or top D guys, not D pair, but D guys.
Right? They don't defend. They don't care to defend at all.
Yeah, that's
right.
That's what I'm saying. One last thing I wanted to ask you about. So tonight is the what they call the hockey equinox. All 32 teams playing tonight, staggered start times. Do you think that matters? Like, do people are sitting there saying, "Go, oh, I can check in on the ending of every game because they all start 15 minutes apart from each other"?
Yeah, I mean it's a cool premise to have every team play, but why wouldn't you do it on a Saturday where you can start the games at noon?
Correct.
Yeah, this is ridiculous, and I'll be honest with you, the marketing or the PR campaign for it has been terrible.
Terrible.
I haven't seen anything about it. They haven't been selling it. I mean, they're selling MAC football action more than they are the Frozen Frenzy tonight.
Way to go, ESPN. Way to go.
I don't know why they spent all that money to get the NHL rights, and they're just totally fumbling the bag on how to broadcast them.
Because it's ESPN.
No, but they do other things well. Like, they do college football well, I think. And they used to do. Remember the college basketball? They would they have games like 48 hours consecutively.
But think about it. You say they do college football well and college basketball well, and they kind of do. But take a look at what now you have other networks challenging them on. You know, Fox now has their own college football show that's rivaling Game Day, right? And now you're going to start. CBS really goes hard on college basketball after a certain point once football season's over.
Yes.
And it really kind of pushes against it. So, like, there are other networks that are looking at it and saying, we can compete with ESPN in these things. I just don't understand. Like, if you compare ESPN and TNT's coverage of the NHL, it's night and day.
Yeah,
I think TNT is so much better than ESPN.
They make it like a big event.
Yes.
ESPN makes it like it's just another game.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, Tuckett used to be on that, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
He did, yeah.
Yes, he did.
But you guys know I love Biz, so.
Yes.
Not even. I don't even know who's on ESPN. Is this Messier still?
Yeah, it's a whole different group. Torts is on there now.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Torts is there.
I saw him the other night. Of course, he got radio or TV job, didn't he?
Yeah.
Bundy, since you're not on radio, did you have like a 3 keys prepared at all, or no?
I didn't do a 3 keys for tonight because I didn't do radio, but the big key tonight will be getting to the middle of the ice, both ways, defensively and offensively. That's where the Flyers are built to play that way. They're being taught to play that way, and that's where they're going to have to win this hockey game tonight.
All right. Do you guys have any? I mean, we might as well just end it right here. We got 2 minutes left.
Yeah, we got 2 minutes, and they're about to do it's time for Flyers hockey. Everybody's going to come on the ice, and then we're going to have Lauren Hart, and then the game will start.
All right, so it'll be us 3 back here, first intermission. I'll have my I have to come up with the new stats because you took mine. But
I only took 1.
That's fine. It's fine.
Just 1.
I have plenty. But thank you again for watching. I'll have the StatCast up here in just a second. When the first period's over, switch on over to our YouTube or Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, probably. I don't know where Russ has all this going, but we'll be back and give you some analysis on what happened in the first 20. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and we'll see you in just a little bit as soon as I find the outro music. Oh, there it is. Found it. All right, talk to you later. Welcome back into the Press Row Show, the number one rated pregame, intermission, postgame show this side of the Mississippi, south of the Arctic Circle, and I believe north of the equator. Took a little while for that period to get going. Then Penguins to get a goal. Flyers respond shortly thereafter, and I don't want to sound the alarms too quickly. The Flyers power play might be a thing again. It might actually be a thing again.
It was a nice goal. It was really nice setup. You know, Bundy, it's an interesting thing, like what the way that power plays have kind of evolved, right, over time. I mean, currently you have a power play that is pretty much like a 1-3-1
Right.
setup, right?
Yeah.
And most teams are doing this nowadays. It's not like this is just something that the Flyers are doing. Most teams do this. It's kind of gotten away from when you either used to have the umbrella kind of set up with two at the top and three down low, or the overload to one side or whatever. They've kind of gone to this 1-3-1 thing. And for whatever reason, the Flyers have been towards the bottom of the standings for the last couple of years, mostly because they've lacked talent. And it made me wonder why they didn't try something different than this, because you never really had these guys who could play in these positions. But boy, this line, and we've praised it so many times, of Noah Cates, Tyson Forster, and Bobby Brink, and they're out there on the power play with Zegras and
Cam York was the defenseman.
Was York on the? I remember it was York or Drysdale. York was a defenseman. I know that's normally the number 2 pair, but those guys are guys who can make that work a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, and again, it was a nice play by Zegras. He threw the puck down low to the backhand of Noah Cates, and then the Cates tried to pull it to the net, and there was loose change in front there, and that's where Bobby Brink kind of sprung in from the middle and was able just to kind of very softly shovel it over Seeloff's as he was trying to make the save. So no, I mean, it's a good looking power play. Again, that's a bread and butter power play. You have traffic in front of the net, the puck's in front of the net, and you have bodies in traffic. Yeah, and that's where the goal scored. And Bobby Brink's had a knack for finding those the loose pucks in the traffic.
And when you're playing that style of that 1-3-1, that middle guy, which they call the bumper, these days, right? But that middle guy is probably the most important guy on there, because like that a lot has to kind of flow through that player.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's where a lot of where your vision comes from. That player in that situation is the guy that's going to be able to try. Either he can take it to the net, or he can make a play out of that, and that's why it's a unique situation. If the bumper, usually you want to have that guy just bringing the puck off the corner, right? If there's a play, then you bump it back out for the one-timer.
Yeah.
But with Cates right there in that play and the thing, I love the fact he tried to pull it actually to the front of the net.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's a good little. It was a good little play. Good little end of the period. On the whole, I thought it was a pretty solid period for the Flyers. I know it's tied 1-1, but it's only 1-1 because Sam Ersson gave up that goal that he shouldn't give up every game.
So that was the next comment that I wanted to bring up here. Adam B. Ersson killed the momentum, but they played great. And I mean, it was almost like a carbon copy of what happened with the Islanders game the other day, where it looked like the Flyers actually had momentum. They had the 2-on-1 chance with Michkov early, and then Michkov from the corner with that great pass to Sealer, who would join the rush, got in front, and Sealer got stopped. And then, the thing with Ersson, we gave him his credit on Saturday. Once he actually finally began facing shots against the Islanders, he actually got into a little bit of a rhythm. So I think if you're the Flyers, you'll take 7 out of 8 from him. I know that was a bad goal, but you'll take 7 out of 8 from him. Hopefully he can get into a little bit of a rhythm. And here's the thing. We know Pittsburgh's going to get theirs in this game. Pittsburgh's second in the league right now in goals for a game. They're averaging 3.8 right now. They're second only behind New Jersey, the only team that scores at a higher clip than they do. So once he faces more shots and gets into a little bit more of a rhythm, I think the Flyers may actually have something. Because here's the thing. On the other end of the ice, that guy Shelovs for Pittsburgh has been fantastic for them this season. So if you're the Flyers, hammering away on him and getting 10 shots on net, I think is really, really the formula for them to win.
So is that a comment or a question?
Both. Well, you guys are the experts. I'm just the...
You're just throwing it out there. I like it. I like it.
I'm the Liam McHugh of this.
No, look. I know you want to give him credit when he plays well, and deservedly so. He played well the other game, last game. I still think that there's a problem. You can't have that happen every game. And I don't care if he comes out and makes 32 saves today and they win the game, 3-2, whatever. You still made the game a little bit harder on your team by not making that one save. Now, look.
I would care if he did that.
Yeah, but games, bad goals happen. And so if they happen from time to time, it's a thing, right? I mean, it's part of the game. But when they consistently happen game after game after game, then to me that starts to become an issue with the player, right?
Yeah, and it's like 1 goal a game. And I know you said, well, he did a good job and stopped 7 out of 8. He should have stopped 8 out of 8.
Yes,
he should not have given that goal up. That's not.
Okay.
That is not a goal you can give up. Like that is just as soft as puppy poo. You can't have it. You can't have it. You just can't have it. That's a game. Beginning of the game, your team's going good, and you just don't want to have that softy go in that has no business going in the net.
So I know when you're thinking of these great Penguins goal scorers they have, Justin Brazeau is probably not the name that comes to your mind first. Did it go over his shoulder, or did it sneak in between him and the post?
No, it was between him and the post. It was a short side goal. It was like just over his skate. It wasn't even that high. It wasn't even like halfway up. It was,
okay. I didn't see the replay.
It was maybe 8 inches off the ice.
Yeah.
Maybe like that's roughly what it was. Yeah, no, he just it looks like he was against the post and he went to kind of shift his body like into an upward spot to kind of try and think like he's going to take away a higher shot, and it opened up just enough room. And even a guy like Brazeau, who's not your top end goal scorer at this level, guys have the skill to find that little spot to put the puck in, and they find it, and he did. So yeah, that's a weak goal.
He was leaking. He was leaking there. That's just a goal that just can't go in.
Yeah,
soft as puppy poo.
Soft as puppy. That's gonna become a sounder.
You hate to. Yeah,
Russ, you paying attention? Soft as puppy
hate
poo.
to hear it. Speaking of Russ, I was actually going to bring him up.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, I actually listened to his show the other day. His show yesterday.
You were the one?
I listened to it today. Yeah.
Okay.
So he actually brought up the fact that he actually thought that Cam York was having a pretty good season to start out, which for him to say that is he really, really means it, because you know how he feels about the fact that the Flyers picked him instead of Cole Caulfield a few years ago.
No.
So, I mean, again, I think he's been good tonight. Like I said, he was on the ice for that power play goal. Bundy, what do you think about just the Flyers defensemen in general today? Because
they've been pretty good.
They made some changes.
I think they've battled the puck pretty well. I think they've done a good job of keeping Pittsburgh to the outside, which is one of their chores with the forward involved as well in that box and one situation that they play defensively. But I think defensively they've moved the puck well. They've bided their time, and they've moved it up to the forwards with efficiency.
Interesting thing I wanted to bring up in this game, and I'm going to pull up the stats here as I talk about it. But you guys may have noticed that the fourth line had a pretty regular shift going on out there in that first period. I just want to kind of take a look at the minutes just to do a quick update of what it is. But it looks like five shifts that they had in that first period. And most of the other lines had either 6 or 7. So they took a pretty regular shift for a fourth line, Bundy. To talk about the way that they played, the way that they've looked. I think they've looked good. And then why might the Flyers be looking to use them a little bit?
Well, they have 4 and 6 nights, the Flyers. So this is an opportunity. They play Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, all home games. And that's tough, believe it or not. Even when you think it's easy when it's home games, it's actually tough when you play that many in just a few nights. So I think right now the way Tockett's been using the fourth line, he's been using them quite a bit. And that's going to be less taxing on the rest of the lineup as these 4 games come into fruition when you hit the weekend.
Yeah, and I think you're going to see Gurbenkin will get back in place of Delorier, so you'll have a fresh Gurbenkin the next game. And they might split the time on that line, much like the goalies are going to split time over these 4 games. So I think that's a unique thing. And like you said, you don't want to overburden your top 3 lines in the first of 4 and 6, right? Because if you got guys got to play 22, 23 minutes tonight, what are they going to look like come Sunday?
Right.
So you're trying to manage those minutes. And so it's really kind of playing this game. Yeah, you're playing to win this game, but you're also playing to win as much as you can over the course of the 4 games.
So knowing what the schedule is coming up, how far in advance do you think Tocchet is mapping out who's going to play on which day? Obviously, all that's subject to change. It could change on any given day. But do you think he has an idea of what he wants to do already for Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah, sure.
And Thursday.
Yeah, I think he has an idea. I mean, obviously, like you said, anything can change, Andrew, right? But I would bet that Delorier gets another start in the next 3 games. I would think he would get 1 more, and Gurbenkin would get the other 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
So my Aunt Maureen is trying to steal my segment.
Maureen.
She has a trivia question.
Yeah.
So I read this a second ago. I don't know the answer. Sidney Crosby, the youngest captain in NHL history, won the Stanley Cup final. Who's second youngest? I read that. The first name that popped into my head was Landeskog.
Is that correct?
I don't know.
No, I don't think that's correct.
It's the second youngest. Was it Bobby Clark?
Was he? Yeah, I don't know.
He was captain.
He would have been like
20.
24. I think Crosby was like 21, wasn't he? 21 or 22.
20, he might have been 22.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, so Landeskog. I remember Landeskog was the captain when he was like 19, but it took him a long time to get there.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's probably not right. I don't. Well, Aunt Maureen, if you want to give us the answer, then
Yeah, she's going to have to. Yeah, she's going to have to. You got to remember, Aunt Maureen. It's second intermission is trivia. First intermission is stat of the night, which I already stole from your nephew because he had one ready to go, and I mentioned what it was in pregame, and he said, "Well, I got to dig up something else."
I got to tell. Somebody mentioned the story about Craig Berube in New York with Brian Leach. I have to tell that story to people that haven't heard it about chirping.
Yeah, I want to get to that. I have it ready to go.
Okay.
Yeah. So I want to talk about that, but I want Andrew to give his stat of the night since he updated it. Let him give us the stat, and then we'll go to the chirps.
Okay. You mentioned that he got the 1,700-point plateau.
Yes.
He's the 9th player in league history to do it. However, he's only the 4th player in league history to do it all for one franchise. The other 3 would be Gordie Howe, Steve Yzerman, and Mario Lemieux. The other thing is Sidney Crosby is the all-time leading scorer in goals, assists, and points against the Flyers. He's been the ultimate Flyer killer over the years. I know that's not really a big surprise, but the funny thing is the Flyers aren't even the team that he's killed the most in his career. He has more points against the Islanders in his career than he does against the Flyers. The Flyers are only number 2. So there's that.
It just seems like it's been the Flyers, right?
That's what it feels like, right?
Yeah, right? It just feels like it's the Flyers. But yeah, I mean, look, heck, at some point, I think over in time, this city will learn to appreciate and respect what Sidney Crosby's brought to the game of hockey. Like, I think the fans in this town, when his career's all said and done,
they'll appreciate him.
They'll appreciate him more when he's gone.
Yeah,
than
absolutely.
they do now, right?
Yeah, this is like a quiet night for him out here. Like usually, I mean, remember years ago it was
Every
one
time he
boo
touched
every
the puck.
time he stepped on the ice. He was getting booed. Now this is like a pleasantry for him.
Yeah. Absolutely is. Absolutely is. All right. So, Bundy, on hockeyhotstove.com, the lead story, the number one story above the fold, as they would say in the newspaper business, but the lead story that you see on the site is you writing a column about the art of chirps and paybacks. And so I wanted to kind of dive into that a little bit because I think that's I'm glad Bill brought it up, and I think it's a great, fun little intermission story. So why don't you tell us a little bit about
the best thing I've ever seen in a chirp, and I tell a couple stories. But the best one that I've ever seen, and this give people an idea of how justice used to prevail in the NHL. We were playing the last game of the regular season against the New York Rangers in around 2000. It was a 2000 year, and we were first in the conference. And they called up at the time. People remember Dale Purinton.
Yes,
big tough guy. So Craig Ramsey tells our team before the game, I don't want anybody fighting him. I don't want anybody touching him. Just let him go play his game and just stay away from him. I don't want anyone getting hurt before the playoffs. So the game starts, and Purinton, the rookie, he ends up running Mark Recchi. He runs Keith Primo, and he's looking to just mix things up. As it's his first game, it's the end of the world to him. And us, we're just trying to get out of there alive and get ready for the playoffs 4 days later. So TV timeout comes about, and Craig Ramsey, guys on the bench are talking like somebody's going to do something about it. And Craig Berube gets up and says, "Don't worry, I got this. Nobody will have to worry about a thing." So I'm thinking, is he going to go fight the guy? Like, we didn't want Chief fighting either because he was also in the playoffs and he was an important part of our roster. So he goes up to the Rangers bench, and we're all listening. And he skates right up to the Rangers bench, and Brian Leach is sitting on the bench next to Purinton. And Chief goes, and didn't say it as polite as I'm going to. He goes, "Hey, Leach, I'm going to tell you a little something right now. You're going to put your pet on a leash right now, or I'm going to take you to center ice next shift, and I'm going to beat you to half to death in front of 20,000 people here at the Garden. And there ain't nothing you're going to do about it." So, and I was like, oh my God. Like, we were guys with Mark Recchi, we were like, this is unbelievable. And Leach had the look of complete fear in his face. And I looked down after it about 30 seconds later, and Leach has got his arm around Purinton going. Mark, not a word of a lie. There was not another hit the whole game. not another hit.
That's great. That's a great story. And I'm trying to remember, Bundy, were the Rangers even they weren't a playoff
No, they
team,
weren't a playoff
right?
team.
That was just the end of their season.
That was their last game of the year. No, but guy says here, Lawrence fine 50-20.
Yeah.
Brian Leetch was not a fighter. No, he wasn't a fighter. And do you think in his last game of the year he wanted Craig Berube to grab him and isolate him on the ice and just pummel him? There's no way he wanted that.
Yep.
And Berube said, I'll handle it, and he handled it. It was just an amazing thing to watch happen.
That's great. That's great.
That's such a funny story.
That's a great story. So, let me throw one more at you since we only have 2 minutes. Who was the best chirper on another team that you kind of would laugh at the fact that they were really good at it?
Rob Ray.
Yeah?
Rob Ray for Buffalo, and he's a broadcaster. He used to always chirp. He'd chirp everybody on the bench. I remember one time I was coming back, and he goes, I'm going to get you tonight, Therien, or something like that, because he's on he wasn't playing.
Right.
And I turned around and looked at him. I said, dude, why don't you get a bag of popcorn and a soda? Just sit there and shut your mouth for the rest of the night because you're never going to see the ice again.
Rob Ray. That's good. That's a good one. That's a good one.
He was the answer to my trivia question a couple years ago because when the Flyers had that brawl with the Senators, he started it with Bashir.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Well, that's good. That was a good first intermission, guys. Way to get through it in a good amount of time. Nice level conversation. It's so much nicer, man. So much nicer when you're here, Andrew.
What's different? I've always said it.
And Eric Berkey says it right here. That's how the cheap shot should be handled. That's exactly right. You don't go after the other team's tough guy when someone hits your team. You go after their best player.
Right.
And that'll leave everything out pretty quick.
You just let them know, too. You let them know you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it goes away.
Yeah.
All right, well, 1-1 after one. Second period's about to start here in 30 seconds. We'll be back for second intermission and post-game, so stick with us. We'll have the stats up on the screen for you during the period. Keep the chat going in YouTube, and we'll be back with you after the second period. Thanks.
40 minutes are in the books now. And we're back live at Xfinity Mobile Arena for the Press Row Show, #1 rated pregame, intermission, and postgame show. This is now back-to-back periods that the Flyers have put up double-digit shots on Pittsburgh. That was actually a 14 spot for the Flyers in the second period there, all over the Penguins. And there's a lot good there that we can break down. I'll start with the penalty kill. I think that we should. I said that Pittsburgh came into this game the number two scoring team in the league. They also came in as the number 2 power play team in the league, 33%. Ottawa's the only team with a better power play than them. Flyers are 3 for 3 on the penalty kill. The first penalty of that period on Brink, as soon as Brink got out of the penalty box, the Flyers get up on the rush. Konecny open from the circle. He shoots, and at long last, he was sitting on it for a while. He gets his 200th career goal. I think just the second goal of the season, right? And the Flyers took the lead. And Pittsburgh really didn't have any better chances after that. They controlled the pace of play completely.
I'm going to make a bold statement right now. The Penguins stink. How's that for bold?
Yeah, we were talking about it. They're not very good. It's amazing they have the record they have.
I know.
Playing like this is unbelievable.
And I know it's a back-to-back.
Yeah,
right. That's part of it. But defensively, they're terrible. I mean, how bad was the play by Erik Karlsson when the Flyers were shorthanded? And he just let Noah Cates go get the puck. Just let him.
Just said, go ahead. Gave him, opened up his arm to him and said, go get the puck, and I won't make a play. And then the Flyers almost scored because of it.
Right. And then afterwards, he's all mad at himself and smashing his stick across the crossbar. And it's like, are you kidding me? You didn't even try.
My buddy, that's a Penguins fan, texted me after that. He said that he put more effort into breaking his stick than he did on the entire power play.
So, yes, but I don't want that to take away from the period the Flyers had, because when you play a team that's not very good or not playing very well, you should dominate the period, dominate the play against them, right?
Yeah.
And that's what the Flyers have done that period. They continue to impress. They continue to roll 4 lines out there. For anybody who questioned why Nick Delorier was in the lineup tonight, he's played pretty
darn well. Yeah, actually, yeah. He's gotten the pucks in deep. He's made some good passes. He's got some hits. He's forechecked. Yeah, he's been fine tonight. No problem with him at all.
Yeah. And so you look at it all the way through. Would you have liked to see them get another goal in there and kind of have a better cushion than just 2-1? Yes. But Silvos has made a couple of really nice. That's how you pronounce that, right?
Shelovs.
Whatever.
I YouTubed it. I YouTubed it because I know I was going to have to say his name. The Penguins announcers call him Shelovs.
Shelovs? All right, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go. Shelovs made 2 really good saves. One on Mishkov, and then the second one was, I think, on Tyson Forster.
Yes. Tippett. I think.
Owen Tippett.
That was the glove save.
Yes, Owen Tippett.
Yeah, that was a nice save. He's played well. Shelovs has played well in this game.
Yeah.
He's keeping him in it.
Yeah, but that's it. Other than that, I don't think anybody from Pittsburgh's looked good.
No, and the other thing we have to say was the Penguins' second power play was set up by Crosby taking a phantom stick to the head.
Well, he did not get hit with the stick on the penalty by Cam York.
Yeah.
Now, York's stick up, it was, right? But it does not touch Crosby, and Crosby has a delayed throw the head back reaction worthy of an Emmy. And that the penalty was called. I think it was one of those reputation penalties.
It's too bad that the Flyers didn't get a shorty, because that would have been the ultimate puck don't lie moment for them.
Yes, for sure.
But when you brought it up last intermission, saying, will the Philadelphia fans eventually respect Crosby for what he was? They may eventually, but he makes it really hard sometimes. He really does.
Yeah.
They're gonna love him and miss him when he's gone.
Yeah,
trust me,
they are, and they did boo a little bit there.
Yeah,
we talked about that. We spoke it into existence, which we become good at.
If Crosby's last game is announced, right, and it's going to be his last time in Philadelphia, he gets a standing ovation.
I agree.
Yeah, I would guess probably similar reception to what Jeter got in his last game at Fenway.
Right,
he got a standing ovation.
I'll tell you, so you won't remember this, Andrew, because you're too young. But Bundy, I believe you were on the ice, right, for Mario?
Yes.
When
his last game, before it was really his last game.
Yeah,
right?
and the crowd gave him a standing ovation.
Yeah.
Right, you were there for that.
Yep.
So they will show their respect when the time comes. I have faith in the Philadelphia fan that they will.
100% they would. If you knew it was his last game and you'd never see him again in the city, of course they'd give him. That's just a respect thing for being a great competitor and a great guy to play against all these years. He made the rivalry fun.
Yeah.
Would you say he's solidified as a top 10 player of all time right now?
No question.
Yes. He's there. He's definitely there. I feel like a broken record talking about the Cates line, but man, they look really, really good.
Yeah,
tonight.
they're really darting in and out of holes. They're supporting each other. They've had chances. Forster's moving his feet. He had a great chance on a kind of a half breakaway. He just missed the net on the shot.
Yep.
But they buzz. Like, they buzz in and out of corners. They get pucks. They make good plays to each other. They don't make high-risk plays. They're really, really, really shining as a line.
Yeah, and Bobby Brink, to me, has looked maybe the best of the three tonight. That's not a knock on Noah Cates or Tyson
Right.
Forster. They've all played well, but Bobby Brink has stood out just a little bit above them with the way he's playing. To think where he was a couple years ago, Bundy, where he was in and out of the lineup, he's very inconsistent with his play.
Yeah.
And it almost seemed like it was a flip the switch overnight kind of thing for him.
Yeah, it's called development, though. Like,
Right.
You do a good job with that and get guys up to snuff and up to par where they're supposed to be, and take away some of the mistakes they're making and find their groove. Get yourself a good hockey player in your hands, and that's exactly what they have with Bobby Brink.
Yeah, but here's the thing with him. I'm not exactly sure that when they drafted him, they thought that he would be this responsible of a player. I think that they looked at him as kind of like, he's a smaller guy, but he could, get into tight spots, score some goals, be more offensive minded, but not really be that two-way forward type. And
Right.
he's developed that part of his game.
Yep.
And I think that has enhanced the rest of his game all the way around.
Yeah, and he's not a big guy either, right? So it's harder for him to play really tight, sound defense because of his body size. But they've had the puck more than the other team when they had it in their line, and that's been like really the good sign to see from those three guys.
Yeah.
We're definitely talking about Cates, Forster, Brink. Zegras, another guy that's been very, very good for the Flyers. I think there's been what's the word I'm even thinking? Consensus, two guys that we would have liked to see a little bit more from so far this season. Konecny would be one, but he scored.
Yes.
Right? So good for him. And then I have this comment here. Derek Lentz. Michkov, I think, is the other one. He's saying that Michkov best game so far this season. Not on the score sheet yet today, but what have you seen from him today otherwise? And do you agree with him?
It's close. I mean, for 40, you've got to see what the third period brings. But so far, I mean, I think it's right up there with the game the other day where I thought he played really well was Saturday. Saturday's game.
Yeah, Islanders.
Really well. Yeah. Yes, he's had more involvement. He did have one play in the first period where he turned the puck over, came right back in the zone. I thought that was more because Zegras was calling for it, and he just made a blind pass. So, there's a couple things still that you got to clean up. You don't want to take too many chances or too many risks on his own end. It's okay to take a couple chances in the offensive end, but not so much in your own end. But on the whole, I thought his game has been better. He's still got to get there, right? Let's see what the third period brings, but it's not been a bad game by any means for Michkov.
Right. I would also expect the Penguins probably being in the second leg of a back-to-back, maybe their legs get a little bit heavier in the third period, especially with the way that the Flyers have controlled the puck so far today. 24 shots on net already. I would assume Pittsburgh's got to be really tired, right?
Yeah, it'll play a factor for sure. I mean, they didn't play less than 24. I mean, they just played less than 24 hours ago. So, yeah, I mean, the legs are a factor for sure, especially with the older guys like Crosby and Malkin. Malkin, as you said, had a great start to the season. He's been really, really unbalanced tonight out here. He's not doing a whole lot. The Flyers got to make sure they do a good job continuing to do that against him because he can hurt you. And Crosby, he's playing more of a perimeter game tonight, and I think the Flyers have done a good job taking his time and space away as well.
Intern Andrew.
Yes.
With 8 minutes to go in intermission, it's time for Intern Andrew trivia. Bundy, we got to play him in.
All right.
Ready?
Nicely done.
Thank you.
All right. So when I say this, it's not going to take you very long to guess where I'm going with it. May 4th, 2000. Flyers taking on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Keith Pramo, obviously, the 5 overtime game-winning goal. It's the third longest game in playoff hockey history.
It's the longest game in modern hockey history.
You got to go back to the 30s for the first two.
Right.
So the final score of that game was 2-1. Bundy, you played in it.
Yep.
Yes. I
So
did.
obviously, other than Primo, do you know the other two guys who scored goals in that game? And other than the goalies, do you know the one skater in that game that had over an hour of ice time?
Wow.
Yeah, Dan McGillis.
Really?
That's correct. Wow. I thought that'd be the harder one.
No, Dan McGillis did. He had the most minutes.
Wow.
And then
I wouldn't have gotten
John
that.
Leclerc scored off his head.
Did?
Yes.
Um,
I knew the group.
obviously Primo, and then the Pittsburgh scored in the first minute of the game. I want to say it might have been Kovalev.
It was.
Get the
Was
hell
it?
out of here.
It was.
Yeah.
You were on the ice. Because you were
was I?
-1, yeah. So
Yeah,
you were,
okay.
you were on the ice.
Yeah, I was the start of the game. Yeah,
It's your fault.
my fault. Blame
Your
me.
fault that it was 5 overtimes.
2
You would have
min-
defended Kovalev better.
Do you remember how people don't really remember how we tied the game at 1 in the third period? Desjardins took a shot and hit Leclerc in the head.
Yes.
And went into the net.
Yeah.
That's using your head.
I do remember that. Absolutely.
2 minutes and 22 seconds into the game, Kovalev scored.
I never would have guessed Dan McGillis was the guy who had 60 minutes of.
Yeah.
61:05.
That's incredible.
So
So why would he have had it instead of the top pair guys?
I don't know. Just the way the flows of the game went. Maybe he got caught out on a shift or two. You know, you never know. But we were going 6D because
Yeah.
we couldn't roll 4 anymore. We did 4 at times,
Right.
but with me and Desjardins and then Luke and McGillis,
Right.
Luke Richardson and McGillis.
So Richardson 59, Desjardins 56. Mark Recchi actually had 53, and then you were 5th for the Flyers, 50
I
minutes,
was
44
-1,
seconds.
Andrew, but you left out one thing.
What did I
After
leave
he
out?
scored at the 2-minute mark, how many other goals did he get the rest of the night?
None.
There you go.
No, you're right.
There you
Who
go.
took, but you know what? You're looking at minutes. Look
Yeah.
at total number of shifts. I bet you Bundy's second.
He is. Desjardins is one with 73. Bundy is 71. He was
Yes.
second on the Flyers.
Yeah.
Yes, you had the second most shifts. You guys were out there more than anybody.
Yeah.
Shift what? You might have cut your shift short,
Yeah.
like 30 seconds or whatever, probably in those overtimes, right?
Yep.
Well, if you had to guess, how long was your longest shift in that game? Do you remember getting caught out there?
I
at all?
do remember, and I don't remember how long my longest was because probably a minute something, when you at the time. But what I do remember was what I wasn't able to do. I mean, we were taking in that last period, I'm not kidding you, we were taking 15, 20-second shifts. My legs were starting to cramp. And I was afraid that I wasn't going to be able to stand up and my leg was going to buckle. Honestly, God, and we scored 2 minutes later. It was the greatest feeling of elation
Nice.
I think I ever had in a pro sporting event.
What were you guys eating during the intermissions?
Yeah, they had pizza and stuff, and they had power bars, and we ran out of all that stuff. All of it. It was all gone. Popcorn. Guys were eating whatever they could. It was like last night, you see in the Dodgers Blue Jays game,
Yeah,
they were
they
giving
brought
guys
fruit.
watermelon and fruit,
Yeah,
and
they brought
nuts
out
and
fruit.
stuff. Yeah.
By the way, funny thing and not that I want to make a shift to baseball. This is a really funny thing. So you know who sang the national anthem for the
I heard about this.
Brad Paisley?
Brad Paisley.
Yeah.
He has now sung the national anthem for 4 World Series games.
Okay.
All 4 of them went extra innings, and both of the 18-inning games he sang the national
Is
anthem.
that right? Huh? Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Was the other one was Dodgers Red Sox, I think, right?
Yeah,
2018.
2018. That's
Yeah.
correct.
That's the. I'm curious, who would even think to research that?
Well, it was somebody. I think it was Anthony Castrovince who writes for the Athletic for New York Times.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think they probably had something on that. I don't know, but that's a wild thing that.
That's a bizarre coincidence.
Yeah,
Is that weird, huh? Yeah, that's weird.
yeah, for sure. Anyway, third period coming up here, Bundy. I'll do the Russ. What do we need to see from the Flyers here in the third period?
Well,
First 5 minutes.
Yeah, they've done a great job checking in this game, and they're going to want to do the same thing coming out of the gate. Stay out of the penalty box. Pittsburgh's power play is a 33% power play. They've scored about 1 on every 3 goals so far this year. Well, 1 and 3 is exactly what they're scoring on that pace. So Flyers need to make sure they stay out of the box, and if they keep their feet moving against a tired team, they're going to get themselves some power plays as well. So that would be the formula. Keep a lot of stuff out of the middle of the ice in the defensive zone, and when there's an opportunity to attack, go after the middle of the ice in the offensive zone.
Yeah. I would like to think that the penalties even themselves out in this period. The Flyers still only have the one opportunity on the power play so far.
Yeah, you might see the Penguins get a little, reaching a little bit, or not, taking a penalty because they don't skate a little bit because of that. You talk about the heavy legs thing. Normally, you take that extra stride. Instead, you end up hooking a guy, or you grab onto a guy, hold him a little bit. Those types of penalties do tend to crop up in games when you're tired. So I mean that is a possibility to see that even out a little bit. So we'll see. We'll see.
As far as on the power play to start,
Yeah, there's still
Okay.
time. There's still time left on that power play.
I forgot about
I think
that.
they have about a minute and a half.
Yeah, about a minute and a half. About a minute and a half on the
Okay.
power play.
Yeah, no, you usually don't like split penalties, but 90 seconds I think you'll take. So
Yeah,
I mean, if
for
the first two periods were any indication, the Flyers were all over the place. So I think there's a chance that they score here,
Yeah,
and then maybe just destroy Pittsburgh's will in this period. That'd be nice to see.
it would be nice to see. Would be nice to see.
So nice.
Yeah, and I also think you can't have any more. You can't have another bad goal, right?
No, you got to shut it down.
So Sam Erson's got to be locked in here in the third period.
He's just got to be good. Second period, he made the routine saves. He made a couple of good, really, really good ones. But that's all you need from just being a solid goaltender. Don't let in a bad goal, and Flyers will get out of here with 2 points tonight.
Being a solid, it's like being a game managing quarterback, right?
Right.
Don't throw a pick.
Or a middle of the rotation starting pitcher who keeps your team in the game, right?
Yep.
You may not be a Cy Young guy or anything like that, but as long as you go 6 innings, 3 runs, you're okay.
Yep.
Keep the team in. That's all Sam Erson has to be.
Yep.
And the Flyers will be fine and win this game.
All right. Well, we got about 60 seconds. The players are back on the ice. Ann, are you staying up here for postgame, or are you going down?
Yes, I will stay up here for the postgame.
All right. We'll
today.
probably do like another 10 or 15 minute postgame, hopefully recapping the Flyers win.
Yes, 10 or 15 minutes. And the primary reason, and I will say it, right, there's 2 primary reasons. One, we have to do 5 shows this week, 4 press row shows, and tomorrow night we're at Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill. So if you're in the area, come on out to see us 6 p.m. Chickies and Pete's at Drexel Hill, Pilgrim Garden Shopping Center. And secondly, I think everyone wants to flip on the World Series game 4 tonight, right?
Yeah.
After that epic last night, I think everyone wants to check out, see what Ohtani can do tonight as he's on the mound for the
That
Dodgers.
guy's just amazing.
He's unbelievable.
He is something else.
All right, so we'll be back post game for intern Andrew, for Bundy. I'm Ant. We'll see you after the game.
We could talk about that overtime for an hour. We won't, but we could.
Well, the overtime almost took an hour.
Yeah, it really did. This is the Press Row Show, number one. Okay.
Yeah, I think we'll talk about it a lot tomorrow.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
The Flyers win in the shootout. Final, I guess, is 3-2. I mean, I don't even know where to start with that overtime. I guess we'll start with the first controversy. So, the Flyers' initial rush, Cates goes to the net. Looks like he got hit up high. No call. Fine, whatever. I'd rather the refs keep the whistle in their pocket in overtime. Anyway, during that chaos, Letang gets lost behind the Flyers' defense. Breakaway. Zegras slashes in from behind, and on the delayed call, Malkin scores. We think, oh, well, game over. Well, just kidding. Because the Penguins got a little too anxious with the goalie coming back to the bench before they put the extra skater on. So they wave off the goal. And the first controversy that I want to get to is they wave off the goal for the Penguins having too many players on the ice, but they still get the power play because of the Zegras slash. I'm not sure why those two didn't cancel each other out.
It was an illegal substitution, not an illegal...
not too many men
on the ice penalty.
Yeah, so here's what I don't understand, Bundy, and I don't know. Call me crazy for making this comparison. But if you have too many men on the ice, right, and you get a penalty,
yep,
it's because someone came off the bench before someone got off the ice.
That's correct. Yeah.
Correct? Okay.
Yep.
I'm just making sure that I'm not nuts. So in this case, someone came off the bench for the Penguins before the goalie got off the ice.
Someone came on the ice before the goalie got there. Yeah, it was.
So then why is that
not too many men on the ice? Right. I don't know if it's because of the goalie. It makes no sense.
Because I think it's not because it's a goalie. I think it's because it's a delayed penalty.
Right.
But that is a stupid loophole rule that needs to go away.
So
yeah, it should have been too many men on the ice.
Right. It should have been both teams should have had a minor penalty,
and
it would even it out in 3-on-3.
So if it wasn't a delayed call, let's say the Flyers had the lead late in the game and the Penguins pull the goalie to get the extra attacker, and they do that same exact thing and they score.
I'm pretty sure it's a penalty. Because then there's not a legal substitution. Because you have a free substitution there that's not normally there. It's crazy.
I'm lost.
The league is
I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So that happens, and during the very tail end of that Flyers penalty kill, Noah Cates actually gets loose again, and then draws a penalty himself. So now the Flyers on the power play to end. I think they have a 2-minute minor, so there was a minute 46 left. So the Flyers are going to end overtime either with the win or on the power play. And we thought that they ended on the win
with Tyson Forster
with Forster scoring.
Right.
And I'm promising you this: we were sitting right here, like you're seeing us now. Literally, I was seconds away from hitting the intro music to start the post-game show. And I was like, well, you know what? That zone entry by Zegras did look a little weird. Let me just make sure before I go live here. The game's definitely over. And I look over my shoulder, and I'm like, hey, Bundy, Pittsburgh's still on the ice. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I don't know. And it's like, maybe they're reviewing for offside. And they showed one replay angle here. Maybe you guys at home got a different angle on TV, but the angle we saw, I thought was on.
It looked onside to us. It looked onside to you too, right, Bundy?
I didn't feel it like when it happened on the ice. I didn't notice it or feel it.
Even the replay that we saw.
Oh yeah, it didn't look offside.
Right, it didn't look
unless there was somebody on the far side of the ice that we weren't getting a replay of.
Right, we only got the one replay, so we can't say for 100% certain. Maybe there was a TV angle that showed something different, but from what we saw, it looked onside. Flyers get burned there, but then there's more.
There's more. I try to remember who it was, but at the very, very end of the overtime period, there was a Flyers player that kind of like chipped a shot on net. It wasn't particularly hard, but I get why,
It was Zegras.
It was him. Okay.
It was Zegras right at the end.
Right.
Yeah, right at the end. Trevor Zegras is taking a shot just after the horn.
So there was a Pittsburgh defender there that gave him a nice little healthy shove, which if that had been the end of it, I think would have been reasonable. Like once the horn is blown, leave the other goalie alone. Just you don't do anything to antagonize. And it looked like that was just going to be the end of it. And I was actually thinking, weird for a Flyers-Penguins game. Not a lot of chippiness so far, and there really wasn't up until that point. And then all hell broke loose, and
things exploded. Guys went after each other. There was a scrum. They never announced the penalty.
No, they never announced anything.
So we have no idea what the penalties were.
And that's why Zegras didn't shoot in the shootout because he was kicked out of the game.
But he got a game misconduct, or at least a 10, right? I mean, he got a misconduct. But we don't know if it's a 10 or a game. So the reason he doesn't shoot in the shootout, where he's, by the way, 62%.
Right.
Okay.
Second highest percentage in league history.
Yes, is because he wasn't available because he took a misconduct penalty at the end of the game. So that's why now all of a sudden Bobby Brink has to go into the shootout rotation. And he goes, and lo and behold, he scores the game-winning goal.
He undressed him.
Yeah, he did. It was a beautiful move.
It was a beautiful move, although I will say.
He probably stopped like 3 times, though.
Look, we don't... Bundy, do you want to keep playing?
That's like traveling in basketball. They don't call it anymore, right?
This game took 5 hours as it is. You wanted to go another round?
It took 3 hours. How the hell's a game take 3 hours?
It was unbelievable tonight. Unbelievable.
That's insane.
Early start. We're thinking, we're going to get home early. Yeah. Nah. Not happening.
That was one thing we did not speak into existence.
Yes, we did not.
But I mean, yeah, I'm sure you guys will go into a little bit more detail tomorrow in Drexel Hill tomorrow night, right?
Yes, Drexel
Chickies
Hill.
and Pete's in Drexel Hill.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I mean, that maybe the wildest turn of events just in a 5-minute period of overtime.
It was crazy
that I've ever seen.
It was. I've never seen anything like it.
I've never seen. Both teams thought that they won, and neither of them were right.
Correct.
Yeah, that's true.
Correct.
Other than that,
nobody won that until the shootout. Nobody won anything.
Right.
I mean that by the league didn't win anything. The fans didn't win anything. Nobody won.
See ya, Mike.
Squat. NHL. Thank you for your stupid rules.
Even their what are they called? The something frenzy. What is it called?
The Frozen Frenzy.
Frozen frenzy. Yeah.
They just threw it out there, but they never advertised for it.
Good thing they staggered all of those ending times.
Yeah. Good win though. Good win.
Ultimately, all of the overtime stuff aside, it was a game that the Flyers probably should. The third period was the only period that the Penguins probably outplayed the Flyers today. They outshot them 9-8 in the third. And the Crosby goal, he definitely not could have put on Erson. That was a pretty fugazi goal that he just bounced in off of Sealer.
Yeah.
So not a ton that he could have done about that. Other than that, I think the Flyers deserve the win. This is their highest shot total of the season so far with 32. First time that they got to the 30 mark this season. So there's that at least. And, it's always good when you beat your arch nemesis. So the only other thing was overall, Bundy, what did you think of Michkov's game tonight? Another shootout goal for him.
Yeah, beautiful shootout goal. Went to his backhand upstairs. Yeah, he had a good game. He's getting better every game.
That's good.
From where he was, and he's improving every night. So, I thought tonight he had another pretty decent game.
All right. I know you wanted to keep it quick. Is there anything else that you wanted to get to, either of you guys?
No, we got. We'll be here. We had Chickies and Pete's in Drexel Hill tomorrow at 6.
Yes.
Thursday night we're back here at 7:00.
Who are we playing that night?
Nashville.
Okay.
Saturday night 7:00 against Toronto, and Sunday night 7:00 against Calgary.
Big homecoming game on Sunday.
Homecoming game?
Oh, Vladar.
Oh, for Vladar, yeah.
Who's coming back?
It's Morgan Frost and Farabee.
Yes.
Oh, right. That actually made more sense.
Everybody thought it would be the homecoming game for Scott Lawton on Saturday, but he's still hurt, right? So he's not going to be.
Yes, that's right.
He may be here. Whether he travels, I don't know, but he's not going to be playing in that game on Saturday. So there's that.
So you'll be seeing a lot of us, and we'll be seeing a lot of you guys too. So thank you for tuning in tonight.
Yeah, good stuff. Good stuff, Andrew. Way to fill in for
you did an unbelievable job.
Thank you, Bundy. I appreciate
really
that.
good.
It means a lot coming from you. You know that, right?
Well, you're well prepared. You're
well prepared. You do a great job.
Unlike the other guy.
And you're positive.
That's not true. Russ is great.
I didn't say he was not great. I just said he's not well prepared.
I disagree.
So there you go.
Disagree.
All right.
So thank you, everyone. Rate, review, subscribe, comment, retweet. I don't know. And shop.snowthegoalie.com. Those Darth Vladar shirts are still available. Star Wars night is coming up here. I can't remember when exactly it is, but if you're looking for something to wear, wear those Darth Vladar shirts for sure.
Yes.
All right. Wild night. We'll see you guys tomorrow night. Chickies and Pete's. Until then, see you later.
Peace.